Anyways, we got to get to our last caller. And also, we will be doing the Discord after party with Richard and myself. If anyone's interested, the Discord link is in the description. But we're going to get to our last caller. We have got GK wants to talk about the true history of Earth. Everything we know about history is a complete lie. GK, aka the Guacamole Kid, you are on with Richard and I. How are you?
I'm good. How are you guys?
Doing good, thank you.
Good, thank you.
When you say everything is a lie, can you expand on that?
Well, this is something I've been on kind of a course for the last couple of years. I talked a little bit about last time I talked to you. But recently I came across kind of the mother of all theories. And it's something that at first, knee-jerk reaction, you know, I mean, it might cause a knee-jerk reaction, but there's actually people who have done a lot of study, I mean, intricate study of this field. So when you start saying, give me the evidence, Micheal Gibson is the person, one of the people that I really enjoyed her presentations. And she's an historian, and she goes into extreme detail of what I'm talking about. But here's the basic theory, and I didn't come up with it, but I actually do believe it.
Okay.
Because it fits in with everything else. You know, these huge buildings and you were talking about them, Richard, in England. You know, you were saying that in our country, we're only a couple hundred years old. We don't have these old buildings and whatever your conversation was, but England's been there longer. They've got older buildings, castles, things from antiquity, right?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So the theory is that the technology of 200, 300, 400 years ago, and this is, I'm talking to some people, you guys are hardcore fact, you know, you're not wanting to get into the ethereal realm too much. You're about facts. Do you think the people from 200, 300, 400 years ago could have built those huge cathedrals?
I mean, I don't know which huge cathedrals you're talking about, but I mean, I don't see.
I'm talking about the castles in England. Your huge churches and castles, Westminster Abbey. You think that technology from 200, 300, 400 years ago could have built this?
Yeah, why not?
Yeah,
you do. You do.
Yeah.
Seriously, they were horse and carriage.
Right. Let me just explain. Let me just explain.
No, I think those buildings were there for a long time, and they were inherited, and they basically erased the history that really was and fed us some bullshit about where all these buildings and stuff came from. Anything they couldn't explain. It's not just the buildings either. It's not just the buildings.
Right. Let me just explain why I think that yes, they were capable of doing it. I'm studying religion, philosophy, and ethics at university, and as part of that course, I've actually had to study the architecture of these big cathedrals. And as part of that study, we've actually had to look into the shapes of how those buildings have developed. So, for example, what's known as the Gothic arch, which is an arch like that, wasn't possible in the earlier buildings because they didn't know how to do it. If you have a look at the older buildings, they have rounded windows. Now, they didn't have the technology available to make the pointed windows. They had to, it was only as a process came along through experimentation that these pointed windows were possible. So it's not just a case that they didn't have the technology or they did have the technology. The technology came along as a process. Hello.
GK?
Okay, I'm watching. Okay, yeah, I'm here.
If you're watching the stream, don't watch the stream because there is a... Hey, GK? GK?
Hello?
Yeah, don't watch the stream because there is a 15-second delay.
I'm trying to get off that.
Okay.
Okay, but now consider this. Canals, locks, all these different things that we find all over the world. You know, do you think in America in the 1800s they had the capacity to build the Erie Canal? No, they did not have the capacity to build that thing in the amount of time they said they had with horse and cart. And I still disagree with your theory, Richard, because you don't know what history is if they've taken half of it out. If you study those things and they've removed the things.
I am studying history. I am studying the history. I studied. Excuse me. Just hang on, because I think we're getting caught up in the delay here. Oh, I think we're just getting caught up in the delay, so I apologize. I'm not meaning to interrupt you. I study the history. That is part of what I do. I study historical texts as part of my course academically. That is part of what I do. For at least 10 years, I've been studying the texts of Islam. I've been studying the texts of Buddhism. I've been studying the texts of early Christianity. I'm aware of the historical method and how you ascertain evidence and things like that. So don't tell me that I don't know how to study history, because I do know how to study history. I may not be the world's best at it, but you know, I've got a lot to learn, and there's lots I don't know. But I do know the basics of how to study history.
And real quick, so a couple of people in the chat had said Micheal Gibson is not a historian, but additionally, directly from Micheal Gibson's website, and I quote, "This information was received by me in an intuitive, co-creative process with the universe because I really wanted to know the truth who beat the megaliths." So GK, that is an outright admission that this is not based on fact.
But listen to me, you guys. Listen to me. The architecture you're talking about and everything is not just in England. It was here in America too. They inherited that stuff. They did not build it. They did not build it. And have you ever heard? You've heard of the Crystal Palace?
So what are you implying then? I guess, like when you're saying they didn't build it, who built it?
Built out of glass. And England didn't even have a glass factory yet. And then they destroyed it.
So
why would they destroy a building like that? Why did they destroy all these old giant buildings of the past? They only kept the ones that they could explain away and make up some bullshit about who built them and stuff.
Okay, GK.
Because they weren't built.
GK.
They weren't built as churches. They weren't built as mosques.
GK.
They weren't built. They were built.
GK.
Energy.
This should be a back and forth conversation, not just you talking endlessly. So.
Well, okay. I was listening to Richard last time. I was trying to copy him.
Fair point.
So, what are you exactly claiming? So you're saying history is a lie. So who do you think built these?
I think that there was an ancient race of master builders, and they basically built the earth. They really did. If you look around the earth at all the common features everywhere, I mean, you're talking about architecture that's on one corner of the planet that wasn't even supposed to be discovered yet, and on another, it's almost identical. And this goes round and round and round. The whole thing.
Can you give us an example?
Waterway energy system. It was a free energy system that they had.
Can you give us a
couple hundred years ago?
Can you give us an example of this architecture, which is the same from around the world from ancient times?
If you look at the way a church is designed, I mean, these big churches with the domes, they look more like acoustic resonators, don't they? The windows look like fractals. I mean, these things were drawing energy down from the ether like a Tesla coil, converting it to energy, and then purifying the waterways that ran below it. The resonance.
That has got nothing at all to do with the question I've just asked you. It's literally got nothing to do with the question I've just asked you. I've just asked you if you can give us an example of the similarities between these ancient structures from around the world as to why you think they're constructed in the same way.
In Micheal's video, she compares dozens and dozens and dozens. She goes around the world place by place, building.
I'm not talking to GK, I'm not talking to Micheal. GK, I'm not talking to Micheal. I'm talking to you. I've just asked you the question.
No, she's the historian. I'm relating her information. I'm not the fucking expert. I'm trying to relate a theory.
I gathered that. You're not relaying the information, though, because I've just asked you a question and you just directed me to Micheal. That's not relaying the information.
No, she's the expert. She's the expert.
How is she an expert when she's not a historian and she admitted to finding all of this information intuitively?
She got a ton of fucking bullshit. If you're just an historian, hey, that doesn't automatically get credence from me.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Whether you're an honest historian, I don't think there's such thing as an honest historian.
Just hang on a minute, because I just need to clarify something with Ethan. I just need to clarify something with Ethan. You're not a historian if you study history and the correct methods of analyzing history. You're an historian if you sit down, say and look for the secrets of the universe, apparently. That's the vibe I'm getting. What
I'm not understanding is you're sitting here discrediting people who go to years and years of school because you think Micheal is an expert who goes off her intuition.
Hello?
Yeah, hello.
I'm sorry, I heard a beep. I thought I got cut off again. No, I'm saying that there was a devised plan to deceive the world and change the history. Yes, it was a conspiracy theory, and it carries forth to this day. And it's about everything. It's about what the world really was like. We had a free energy grid and a clean water system that covered the entire Earth.
Have you got anything?
Fucking Earth.
Can you?
Have you got any? I was just going to ask the same question. Have you got anything to evidence this?
You have to study it a little bit yourselves and prove it yourselves. All I can tell you is my theory. I can't.
I have studied it. I studied history.
You got to understand all this stuff.
So who studied it?
That's the thing, GK. Richard has studied it, and I myself, I don't even know where to go with this. All right.
And actually studied and compared these things, Richard? I don't think you have. I don't deny that you're an expert in your field, but have you ever studied?
I'm not an expert. I'm not an expert. No.
So if you give it an honest look, then I would appreciate your opinion because you are an historian.
I'm trying to give GK. I'm trying to give it an honest look. I'm literally asking you clarifying questions to give it an honest look. And you're referring me to someone else and not answering those questions.
No, because I'm not the expert. I'm related to the theory that they came up with.
Okay. So here's what we need you to do in this case, because all you're doing is relaying someone else's information that we find to be completely unreliable.
No, I put my own on
so if you could send me a message and include one, Micheal's credentials and why she should be considered reliable.
I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. Look it up yourself.
Okay. Well, then if you don't want to do the work and back up your claims, then have a wonderful day. Goodbye. Sorry. Nope. If you want to make claims, prove it. Don't just come on and say, this person said that, this person said that. I'm just relaying information. We're not here for you to ramble. We're here to have a conversation and honestly investigate the claims you present, not just whatever you feel like saying.
Exactly that.
Oh, man, this was a good show, but these last two callers kind of riled me up a little bit.
It's been a show of two halves, hasn't it?
Philip Leitch, thanks for the $5 super chat. We can date cathedrals through wood rings, carbon dating, even archaeological findings under the buildings. How is this dismissed? Also, for those of you who like my new background, special thanks to my brother who helped me put all this together. I think it's pretty kick butt. Like, it looks awesome, and he helped me make it portable. So if I ever move, I can literally just unscrew everything and screw it in a new place. So super cool. I love it. But Bandaid is, of course, already trying to attack and rip up the lower ones. Go figure. What'd you think, Richard?
That was a very interesting show. We had a couple of really good conversations to begin with, and unfortunately, the kind of people who just want to come and speak at you and throw claims at you and came out at the end. I'm all for a good conversation. I love conversations with people. It doesn't matter what they believe. I love having the conversations, and we've had some really respectful ones tonight, which I really appreciate. That's why I want to do these things.
Well, and it's always the people with the most off-the-wall astronomical claims that tell you to look it up. Like, no, I have not. Like, I have not found anything you've said to be credible, and you need to